What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Deal Durham podcast, episode 2. So happy you joined us here today. Now, again, the Real Deal Durham podcast is all about empowering you to make the best real estate decisions possible. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, whatever you're doing, we're here to make sure you make the best decisions in real estate possible. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Isaiah Henry, born and raised in the Durham region. I built a 6-figure real estate business while working a full-time job, all before the age of 30, and I'm super excited to share my knowledge with you, so again, you can make the best decisions in real estate possible. Shout out to Apollo for the music for the podcast there, and without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone, and today's quick tip is get pre-approved. Before you start your home search, get pre-approved for a mortgage. This helps you understand your budget, it streamlines the buying process, and it makes you more competitive as a buyer to sellers. Now, I work with a number of high-quality mortgage professionals, and they love to help you out. So if you need any help with your mortgage pre-approval, please make sure you leave a comment, send a DM, send me a call, text, doesn't matter. I'd be happy to help you out. This is the Real Deal Durham podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. In today's market update section, I want to go over the market trends and some numbers that are going on in the Durham region. Again, these numbers are for July, so they're pulled from June, but I'll do my best to make them as relevant as possible for you. So starting out with everyone's favorite, the average purchase price. Now, almost at that million mark, but the average price in Durham region right now, $999,787. So pretty much right at mil, which is right on par for where you want to be in Durham. Now, with that being said, if you're looking for your average mortgage payment, I did the numbers based on a 20% down, 20% down, 5-year fixed rate. Pre-tax and utilities, you're looking at $4,808. So just shy of $5,000 for your average monthly mortgage payment, and that's with a down payment of just shy of $200,000. So we're not talking about a little bit of money there, but those are the numbers shake out to be there. If you're looking for some ways to get to that 20%, we do have some options where if you have as low as 5%, we can top you up to 20, no loan or anything there. We got some really good options if you're interested in a program like that. Now, this is what I think is going to be really interesting. Yes, we have the $1 million properties, $999 million, all that good stuff. But what about the value properties? What about some stuff below that price point if you're looking to get into the market? So I kind of took a look at everything below $650K and what that looks like there. So if you're looking for a property below $650K in the Durham region right now, a couple things you want to look at. You want to look at semi-detached properties in Brock Township. So that's the north area of Durham. And condo townhouses in Oshawa. I know people sleep on Oshawa all the time, but there's so much value there. I own property in Oshawa, and I still think it's a super valuable market, especially if you're looking for the right property. So make sure you check out some condo towns in Oshawa if you're looking for some value properties there. But in condos as a whole in Durham, they're actually trading pretty well right now. 650. Let me just look at here. So yeah, condos in Durham, they're trading pretty well. Pretty much all condos in all cities in Durham are trading under the $650K purchase price. So if you're looking for a low price property to get in, if you don't have that massive down payment for like $1 million property, condos are still great properties to get into. Now, we can go back and forth if they're great investments, but if you're looking to get into the market, I'm telling you, condos in the Durham region are definitely a place that you want to look at there. Now, if I look down a little bit further, the average days on market that we're seeing in the month of June is 11 days on market. So that indicates we're still in a seller's market. If you think about it, in 11 days, this property is on the market and off the market. That's less than 2 weeks, which still gives the seller's upper hand. I want to watch those numbers over the next couple weeks to see how things really shake out as the interest rates continue to rise and the market adjusts to these increase in interest rates. So make sure we keep an eye on that number here. Let's talk about over asking. Again, it's just the way the real estate industry is right now, but everything seems to be going over asking. The only 2 cities in Durham region that are not going over asking are Brock Township and the city of Uxbridge, or municipality of Uxbridge up there. Now, when I say that, it's not like they're going severely under asking, like they're going 99% of purchase price. So if they're selling for $1 million, they're going for $999. So again, everything's pretty much selling at asking or above. So make sure you're aware of that when you're looking for properties there. And if we're looking at sale price trends, so if we start in January of 2022, we had an average sale price of just over $880,000 in Durham, and now all the way in June, we're back up at 99787. So we're almost at $1 million. So we are trending in the right direction, even despite these increase in interest rates. So again, you want to make sure you're aware of where the market's going to make sure that you can make the best decisions possible. Now, if we're looking at this year over year, we are still slightly lower. In 2022, around this time, we were trading at $1,024,000, so just over $1 million there. And right now we're trading just under at $999,000. So again, even with these crazy interest hikes, like I'm talking, Bank of Canada has it at like 5% for the overnight rate, we're still just off of what we were a full year ago. So definitely something you want to keep in mind there. I think it's nuts. Like, people definitely have money. I know the government's trying to slow inflation and slow everything down, but it seems like a lot of guys with a lot of money are still making some buys there. So again, Durham, great market. Prices are still going in that upward direction. So it's some great value for us there. Again, those are the stats. This is the Real Deal Durham podcast. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Real Deal Durham podcast. In today's topic discussion, we're going to discuss the difference between a transactional agent and a fiduciary agent. Now, again, they're both real estate agents, but I kind of want to break down the differences so that, again, when you're out there in the market, whether you're working with myself or another agent, you're making the best decisions possible and get in front of the realtor or real estate professional who's going to best service you and your needs. So why don't we get into it? So the first thing I kind of wanted to go over is the difference between a transactional and a fiduciary agent. So if we're talking about a transactional agent, they're all about facilitating the transaction. They pretty much just want to see you grab the paper, move it to the buyer, move it to the seller's agent, and get that deal closed. They act as more of an intermediary between buyers and sellers, and they don't really feel the need to prioritize your needs, your interests, or even the best outlook for you as a client. They make their money more on the volume of the sale. Now, if you transition over to a fiduciary agent, or something that I like to call myself, they're committed to putting the client first at all costs. The client's needs, the client's wants, the client's best interests are always put first when you're working with a fiduciary agent. Now, when you're working with a fiduciary agent, they uphold a certain level of care, loyalty, and confidentiality to you as a client. And this is exactly what you're looking for if you're buying or selling in the Durham region. They're going to offer top level guidance. They're going to advocate for you. They're going to have that expert advice and really guide you through that entire transaction. They're not just there to get the sale done. They're more to make sure that you get exactly what you need out of that real estate decision, whether you're buying or selling, or even just looking for your next real estate purchase. These agents are there to work with you and for you in your best fiduciary interests. Now, the main differences, I'm sure you can see here. Transactional agents, man, they're really good at quick, easy deals. They make their money, they get out. Bang, bang, boom. They meet you, shake hands, get you under contract, fire you off to the seller, deal's done, deal's closed, they're on to the next one. And a fiduciary agent, now they might be a little bit slower. They'll get to know you a little bit, take you on a date, wine and dine, that whole good thing. But they're really focused on the relationship between you and the agent to then go forward to make the transaction. The transaction always comes second and the client always comes first. That's why I myself definitely identify as a fiduciary agent, and I hope clients get to work with more of those agents rather than the transactional ones. Now, again, I think there's a time and place for a transactional agent. Maybe you're a little bit more experienced, this is your third, fourth, or fifth home, or you're a sophisticated investor. Sure, a transactional agent might be great, but if you're looking for someone to really, take your best interests, identify your needs, be able to help you through the process, problem solve, expert advice, you definitely want to be working with a relationship-focused fiduciary agent to help you through the process there. Now, why would you choose a fiduciary agent if you're buying or selling a home in the Durham region? Now, the first thing I would say is the expert negotiation and representation. Like I said, the transactional agent, they're trying to get in, get out, get your money, and move on to the next client. They make their money on volume. But again, when we're talking about the fiduciary agent, they're going to have that in-depth market knowledge. They're going to know about the bad streets in Oshawa. They're going to know about, the Joe Blow drug user who always frequents this area. Even though the prices are low, it might not be exactly the property that you're looking for. They're dedicated to securing the best property for you. Not the best property in general, the best property for you. If they know you need a 4-bed with 2 bathrooms because you have a growing family, they're not going to stick you into a 3-bedroom, 1-bath and say, hey, you guys can figure it out. They're really working to make sure the property that you purchase or the way that you sell your property fits your needs and actually gets the job done, not just get the sale done so they can make their commission there. Another thing you're going to get with a fiduciary or relationship focused agent is you're going to get personalized guidance and support. They're going to take the time to understand the client's needs, the preferences, and goals. Like really, they're going to sit down with you and they're going to actually talk, have that conversation, because at the end of the transaction, you want to think of these agents more as a friend or close colleague rather than someone who just signed a bunch of papers and got you into your next property. Again, they're focused on that relationship. Another thing they'll do is they'll offer you that tailored advice and recommendations through the process. Now, let me give you a quick example here. So if you're, let's say you're a beginner investor or you're someone looking to house hack here, a tailored approach would be looking for a property that has proper ceiling heights, a separate entrance, and meets the qualifications of a property that you could turn into a legal duplex or a legal second suite. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking for let's say a luxury property, you're not going to get the same kind of approach. A fiduciary relationship-focused agent is going to look at you a little bit differently, put you into a different neighborhood, or maybe even expand their buy box to make sure that luxury property that you're looking for is going to be what's brought to you. It's not like a cookie-cutter approach. You just fill out this form and we'll go see some properties that match. They take that extra time to make sure they know exactly what you need and get you exactly into that product that you want. Now, the final thing here is that they mitigate risks and avoid pitfalls. When you work with a transactional agent, they just hope that this deal closes so they can move to the next one. They don't want to go through any home inspection problems, financing issues, something with the seller at the end. They don't want any part of that. But a relationship fiduciary agent really wants to walk you through right to the end. If there's anything that comes up with the financing, they're there to jump on it. If there's anything that comes up in the home inspection or anything that comes up with some of the seller's conditions, they're there to avoid pitfalls and mitigate your risks. They're not going to let you sign or put forth conditions that put you in a vulnerable situation. They're going to protect your best interest at all times to make sure the transaction goes exactly the way that you need it to go and make sure you get into the best property possible. Again, it's that professional guidance to help you navigate these complex transactions. Because I don't know if you've seen an Ontario agreement of purchase and sale, but that thing is long. It's got a lot of words, a lot of places to sign. And as a fiduciary relationship agent, they're going to walk you through that whole thing. Maybe not line by line, because again, who's going to sit there and listen to that? But again, they're going to give you every main point so that you feel as comfortable as possible when you go through and make that transaction. When you're working with an agent, or if any clients that work with me, they know exactly what's coming next. It's not that anxiety or nervous feeling like, oh, I don't know what I'm signing, or I don't know the next steps. They're really going to sit with you and work with you to make sure that you're prepared, and they reduce your anxiety to make sure that when you're going into these transactions, you know what's going on and you can have the best outcome possible. And finally, they're going to minimize potential legal and financial risk associated with real estate deals. Now, this is a topic or a point that I don't know if everyone takes, this is a point that I don't know if everyone takes so seriously. Like an agreement of purchase and sale, that's a legally binding contract. Now, I've done a number in my days through my investing and through my real estate career, but that's a legally binding document. I don't think it's something you should just sign your name to willy-nilly. When you're going through this, a real estate professional or fiduciary agent that's focused on the relationship will make sure that you're signing something you're comfortable with. And if you're not, they're going to do things, maybe speak with your lawyer, consult a paralegal, to make sure that everything in that agreement is exactly the way you want it. That one, protects you, and two, is going to make sure you get to the finish line with avoiding any legal or financial risk. So that's actually the important part when you're working with them. Because it's very easy to sign your name, but you want to make sure you're signing your name to something that you're proud of and that you can stand behind. So make sure you're watching out when you're working with your agents there. Now, the last thing I wanted to bring up on this topic is how can you, as a client or a buyer or a seller, identify that you're working with a fiduciary relationship-focused agent? Well, first thing, you gotta ask the right questions. Now, a couple questions you wanna ask. You wanna ask about the agent's obligations, how they prioritize clients, and how they manage their business. If they can't give you the time of day and they just want you to sign, walk the property and put an offer in right away, might not be the most relationship-focused agent for you. You want to assess the agent's knowledge, their experience, their commitment to you, their commitment to their craft, and their commitment to the business. Again, if they don't take this seriously, I don't think you should take them seriously as well. When you find a good relationship fiduciary agent, they're going to make sure that not only they win you over, but they focus on these relationships and show you that knowledge, experience, and commitment to make sure that you reach your real estate goal. And a couple other questions you can ask as well is you ask for credentials, affiliations, designations, awards. All that stuff's great to get an idea of how they run their business and how efficient are they with other clients as well. You can also look at their track record, maybe Google reviews, Facebook reviews, or just talk to some past clients that they have to get a really good idea of how that agent handles their business and how they're going to handle you as a client. The last thing you want to do is you want to take a time to actually consult with them and see if they actually are a fit for you. Like, I'm a big sports guy, so sometimes you find a player who you think might be the best fit to your team. But once they come in, they practice, they work out, you're like, this might not be a good fit. The same thing is here when you're dealing with a real estate agent. You want to make sure you establish that level of trust. You want to make sure they're compatible, they're responsive, the communication style matches what you're doing there. What I do with my buyers and my seller clients is we do what we call buyer or seller presentations. That's where we sit down, we go over the process, whether they're buying or they're selling. We lay out some of the benefits of working with us as well as the process. So 1, we relieve anxiety. 2, we build that relationship. And 3, we make sure that we're compatible so that when we go into this transaction, whether it's a buy or a sell, that everybody's on the same page and that relationship holds strong the entire time. Trust and rapport are the most essential part here. So again, if your agent's not giving you the service, maybe they're more of that transactional volume focused agent and not the relationship agent that you need, want, and quite honestly deserve. Remember, we're making the right decisions here with real estate. This whole podcast and everything I do is about inspiring those to make the best decisions possible in real estate. So it's crucial to have a knowledge, trustworthy, relationship-focused agents to make all the difference. Now, if you're looking to transact in the Durham region or the surrounding areas, I'd love to help you out. Comment, DM, call me, all that good stuff. I'd be happy to help you out. And hey, if you're looking for afar, I know some great agents in Ontario who would be happy to help you. Again, get in those comments and DMs, and I'd be happy to share those contacts with you. This is the Real Deal Durham podcast, everyone, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. And guys, I'm super excited about this section. I know we've been talking about it. It's the in the community section. Yes, the in the community section. So the whole part of this section is to bring that idea of community to the real estate side. So the first business that we're going to be highlighting is Canada Computers in Whitby. Not Ajax. The one in Ajax, no good. I had a terrible experience. Their management, their staff could care less about doing good customer service. But if you go out to Canada Computers in Whitby, you're going to find yourself a great time. So if you're looking for the location there, they're located at 1635 Victoria Street East in Whitby. That's where you're going to want to go to get that unbelievable service. Now let me tell you a quick story. So I needed a new computer, not this one, but another computer. And I was having a tough time. I was looking at Macs online. I went to like Staples, Best Buy. I couldn't find anything. So I ended up stopping in Canada Computers in Ajax to get some help. They could care less. They sold me some piece of junk that didn't even have a hard drive, and when I plugged it in, nothing would turn on. So when I went back that same day to return it, they were giving me the hardest time, and I was like, I can't believe it. So what I did is I drove out to Whitby because I'm like, hey, I still like Canada Computers. Let's see what I can do. So I drove out to Whitby and I met the manager. His name is Drew, and my guy hooked me up. Like, he did the absolute most. He showed me every product that was out there. He really said, hey, what are you looking for? What kind of machine can we get that actually services your need? I had this idea of a completely different computer, but when I actually told him what I needed, he was able to kind of cater and said, hey, actually this might be a better option. So he got a really, really good machine. It's the laptop that I travel with to clients I do presentations on. So it's a super cool machine, has all the, doodads and all that cool stuff. I'm not super techie, so it does all that great stuff. But again, you got to check him out. Amazing customer service. And not only did Drew help me out, but he was bigging up his team the whole time. No selfishness. It wasn't like my deal, not anyone else's deal. He was hyping up his crew. Everyone was going around picking up stuff. It was a really good vibe. It was a Saturday morning. I really loved it. So again, go check him out. They're out there in Whitby as well. Now, when I was talking to Drew, I said, hey man, I want to feature on the podcast. He said, yeah man, why don't you share an offer with some of your audience? So again, he doesn't put this in the paper, but because he's on the Real Deal Durham podcast, he got me a little something. So if you go on the weekend, so Saturdays and Sunday, they have these door crashers every weekend. They're not advertised. They're not in the paper, but if you actually head up there on the weekends, go ask for Drew or any of the management team. They have all these door crashers on some really good tech pieces, whether you're looking for a laptop, CPU, desktop, graphic cards, electronics, mics, headphones, all that good stuff. And they only advertise it day of in store. So again, you can't get it anywhere else. You can't call in, you can't get it online. You you actually got to go in. So make sure you go in, see my boy Drew, and make sure he'll hook you up. Okay, guys? So that's our first ever feature in the community section. And again, that's Canada Computers, located in Whitby at 1635 Victoria Street East. 1635 Victoria Street East in Whitby. Go ahead, check out my man Drew. He'll hook you up, guys. It's the Real Deal Durham podcast, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. In this section, we are going to answer a Q&A that either came from a DM, that came from like a mentor client, or it came from some sort of question that I got over the last week or so. So today's question reads like this. Hi, I'm looking to do some renovations. I have a mortgage up for renewal in 2026. Oh, that's a couple of years. And I have a credit score of 800, subtle flex. What are my best options? Okay. So this is good. You got a great credit score. You have some leeway before your mortgage renewal comes up. You're doing some good stuff. Like, I'm always a big fan of planning before rather than hey, my mortgage just comes up in 2 months. What do I do? So this is great that he's planning, or great that he or she's planning. Sorry. So the first thing I would say, I'm going to put my investor hat on. Don't over renovate, especially when you have some money to spend and you're looking to possibly do a refinance or sale. There's no need to over renovate, because at the end of the day, your taste might not be everyone's taste. And if we're 3 years out, it might not be a good idea to over renovate when styles might change. There was a time where the bronze handles were all in, and then there was the gold handles, and then it was the matte black, and then it was the gray luxury vinyl plank floor. Now people like the lighter floor and the white walls. Again, styles change. So again, I would go with some classic styles, maybe even consult a designer to make sure you're getting the best return on your investment there. Another thing I'd like to do is check the comparables for the area. You kind of want to know where your property is sitting in terms of value, so you know how much to spend on your renovation to make sure you're getting the best value out of it. When I have a client in this situation, I like to do comparative market analysis. You might call them, or you might hear them called CMAs. So what I do is I take their property specifics and I compare them to a couple sold properties and maybe even some active properties in the area, so we get a realistic idea of what their property's worth now and what their property's worth after they do the renovations. Some people call this ARV, or after repair value. This is great because we know how much to spend on renovations and how much we should see as a return on our investment. Like, for instance, if the property's only going to be worth $800,000, but we have to put $100,000 worth of renovations into it, it might not make sense, and it might be better to just sell it as is. But at that same token, if the property is worth over $1 million and we only have to put $100,000 into it, that might be a really good return on investment because the ARV is so much higher. So that's definitely something we want to keep a look at. Another point that I'd make here is focus on density. So they've already passed the laws that approve the multiple units in a residential area. So I'm a big believer in focus on density. Whether you're adding an in-law suite or a legal second suite, it's very important to add density to improve your after repair value, and two, just open it up to a wider range of buyers. If you have that in-law suite or second suite, not only can a first-time home buyer or end user use that, but you can also get it to an investor. So it kind of hits both spots there. So I'm a big believer in adding density there. Again, investors, house hackers, multi-generational houses, these are all things you want to do when you can densify there. What I'll do is I'll put the info on building a second suite. I'll put it in the description, either on the podcast or on the YouTube video. You guys can take a look at it there. A couple other things that I would look at is the Airbnb potential rental income. Again, if you don't want to rent it out, or if you just renovate it there and maybe you have a small little section in the basement you can always go after some Airbnb rental income. And the final thing here, keep healthy reserves. I think I heard this from another podcast, is the amount of reserves you have is directly related to the problems you're going to have in your renovation. So if you have only $500 left and it's your last $500 and you're just squeezing it, you're going to have a big problem. The roof's probably going to blow off your house and you're going to be like, oh crap, where do I get the money from? But at the same token, if you have $5,000 in reserves, your probably only problem is going to be a leaky pipe that you can fix with a $200 plumber visit. So again, keep healthy reserves. One, for peace of mind, and two, it's just going to better help your renovation there. If you're looking for how to start these renovations or get an idea of what the numbers are going to look at, I do have a free rehab estimator. If you jump over to Instagram, you can click on that link in my bio, and you'll get taken right to the free rehab estimator. Put in your square footage, put in what you want to do, and it's going to give you like a low, high, and average of what your renovations are going to look like. Great place to start, and then we can connect you with some contractors going forward there. So yeah, great question. 800 credit score, doing some renos. There's a lot of options you guys can do, so I hope that was helpful. Again, this is the Real Deal Durham podcast, and we'll be right back. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Episode 2 in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. I want to hear from you. If you guys got something nice to say, please be kind in the comments. But again, if it's mean, say it with your chest. That's all I care. If you're watching on any of the audio platforms like Apple Music or Spotify, make sure you leave a review and hit that 5-star rating. 5 stars is preferable, but if you got something to say, let me know. And again, if you're a Durham-based business, entrepreneur, side hustler, or whatever you are, we want to hear about you. Send us a DM or an email. We'd love to feature you on your show and share what you're doing with the community members of Durham. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to grab a free copy of the Durham Region Neighborhood and Price Guide. We update it every month. The one will be for July is already out, so you can go get a copy of that anytime. But August will be out in just a few weeks, so make sure that you get that there. You can subscribe to the email list and you'll get it when it comes out, or you can always download it straight off my Instagram there. Again, I'm your host, Isaiah Henry, Durham's favorite community realtor. You guys have been listening to the Real Deal Durham podcast, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.